She thought she finally married the man of her dreams, but the same man boiled her mother's head for a secret sacrifice. A poor widow who suffered to raise her daughter, a charming rich man who hid his dark secret, and a painful regret that came too late. What really happened inside the mansion? This shocking story will leave you speechless. Watch till the end. Once upon a time, in a quiet village, lived a poor widow named Rose and her only child, Lora. Rose had lost her husband many years ago. Since then, life had been nothing but a long road of struggles. She worked hard every single day just to put food on the table for herself and her daughter. They lived in a small broken hut with leaking roofs. But though they were poor, they shared something many rich people never had: pure love, peace and happiness. Lora loved her mother so much. She always said, "Mama, I won't leave you. We will suffer and laugh together until God remember us." Instead of going to school like other children, Lora followed her mother to work on people's farms. They cleared bushes, weeded grasses, and planted crops, all for a small payment at the end of each day. Lora knew her mother couldn't afford school fees and she didn't want to add to her burden. So every morning, while other children carried books, Lora carried farm tools and followed her mother with joy in her heart. They often returned home tired, but together they cooked, ate, sang and laughed. On days when there was no food, they would sit under the stars and tell each other stories just to keep their hearts happy. One night, Rose hugged her daughter tightly and said, "My child, you are my joy, my blessing. May God bless you for standing with me." And Lora replied, "Mama, as long as I live, I will never leave your side." They believed that one day their story would change. But little did they know that the same love and closeness they shared would later lead them into the arms of something dark, something they never imagined. Years passed and Lora grew into a beautiful young woman. She was known across the village for her beauty, respect and hardworking spirit. Many young men admired her, but they were too afraid to approach her because they knew how much she loved her mother and how poor her family was. One afternoon, a young man named Peter came to visit. Peter wasn't rich. He was a simple farmer struggling to survive just like Lora and her mother. But Peter had something many men didn't have: a sincere heart and true love for Lora. Peter greeted Rose and said, "Mama Rose, I have come to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage. I may be a poor farmer, but I will love her with all my heart. Together, we can build a future with our hard work." Rose looked at him from head to toe. "What do you do for a living?" she asked sharply. "I am a farmer, Mama," Peter answered humbly. The moment Rose heard farmer, she jumped up in anger. "God forbid! So you want my daughter to live one poor life and enter another poor man's house? Before I blink, leave my compound. Go and marry your fellow suffering girl, not my precious daughter." Peter stood in silence, his heart shattered. With heavy steps, he walked away, his dreams crushed. Lora stood by, shocked and speechless. Her heart hurt, but she couldn't speak against her mother. Weeks later, a brand new car drove into their compound. A tall, handsome man stepped out wearing an expensive watch and shiny shoes. His name was Leo, a rich businessman from the city. Leo came with gifts, bags of rice, boxes of clothes, money, and said, "Mama Rose, I want to marry your daughter." The moment Rose heard rich businessman, her heart danced with joy. "My son, you are welcome. Don't even say too much. You have my blessings." Lora stood quietly, her heart beating fast. She didn't know Leo well, but her mother's happiness was more important to her. In no time, Plans for the wedding began. The wedding was grand, the talk of the whole town. Rich men and women attended, musicians played, dancers entertained, food and drinks flowed like water. Rose danced like a queen. She shouted to everyone, "My daughter is now a rich man's wife oh! My suffering is over oh!" But deep inside Laura's heart, something didn't feel right. She thought about Peter, the poor farmer who offered her love, and Leo, the rich man she barely knew. But it was too late. She was now Mrs. Leo, and little did she know she had just entered the lion's den. After the wedding, Leo moved Lora and her mother, Rose, into his grand mansion in the city. The house was massive, marble floors, golden chairs and cars parked outside. It was like living in a palace. Life seemed perfect. Every evening, Leo, Lora and Rose would sit together, eating, laughing and sharing stories. There was peace, joy and happiness. Rose felt blessed. Lora believed God had finally remembered them, but behind Leo's sweet smile was a dark heart. One night, when everyone had gone to bed, Leo sat alone in the living room. His face was serious, his eyes were cold. He thought about something terrible, his yearly sacrifice. Leo was part of a secret cult. To remain rich, the cult demanded that every year he must kill an elderly woman, cut off her head, cook it and eat it. That was the evil price for his wealth. Now the time had come again, and this year he had chosen Rose, his own mother-in-law. The next morning, Leo called Lora and said sweetly, "My love, I need you to travel to the village for me. There's an important event. Please go and represent me. You will stay a few days." Lora was happy. She agreed and hugged her husband. She kissed her mother goodbye and left for the village without knowing it was a deadly trap. The moment Lora left, Leo struck. He entered Rosie's room quietly. Before Rose could even cry out, he killed her. He took her head just as the court demanded and began cooking it in the kitchen. But something happened that Leo did not expect. Lora had forgotten her purse in the house. She returned from the village that same day. As she entered the house, she smelled something. Meat cooking. She smiled. "Wow! My husband is cooking meat. That's sweet." She happily went to the kitchen, but when she opened the pot on the fire, she froze. Her mother's head boiling inside the pot. Lora screamed in horror. "Ah!" Her heart felt like it would burst. She ran outside, crying, shouting, and calling neighbors. People rushed in. When they saw what Leo had done, they called the police immediately. Leo was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. Lora buried her mother with a heart full of pain, regret and sorrow. She cried every day. "If only I had listened to my heart. If only I didn't marry for money. Now my mother is gone, killed by the man I called husband." Lora lived with deep regret, knowing that greed had cost her the life of the woman who loved her most. She gave up the mansion, returned to her village and spent her life helping the poor and warning young girls about the danger of marrying for riches. Her story became a lesson to many. Moral lessons. Not all that glitters is gold. 2. Love and peace are worth more than riches. 3. A mother's love is priceless. Never trade it for money. 4. Greed can lead to destruction. 5. Listen to your heart, not just sweet words or shiny gifts. Thank you so much for watching this powerful story of Rose and Lora. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more emotional life stories with deep lessons. May we always choose love, peace and wisdom over greed. God bless you for watching.